I heard a voice on the other end, speaking in rushed, excited tones. She mouthed the words, "They caught the boyfriend." My mood brightened. "Like I said, this one should be simple," I said softly. Murder cases were sometimes the most obvious crimes to solve. I didn't feel like I'd earned my paycheck on this one. Karen hung up and shrugged. "Should we bother to visit Cross?" "Wouldn't hurt to have some empirical evidence to go along with it. He might snag a lawyer who tells him to keep his trap shut. Let's see what we can find," I said and opened the door, pushing the lever down. There were no tenants here from the looks of it. The halls were musty, the kind of smell that you recognize you shouldn't be breathing in. It was only years of dampness and mold that could cause this, and I squinted at Karen as I took the lead. The lights were dim, flickering on and off as a light bulb was ready to give up the ghost. There were a couple of unmarked doors along the way, and one at the end of the hall. It didn't have a label, just a name and felt marker. Cross. "Lovely. I hope he's wearing pants," Karen whispered. I was about to knock on the door, alerting the super to our arrival, when I spotted the blood. It wasn't a big drop, but it sat on the round brass handle like a glowing beacon. "That's blood," I said quietly, crouching to get a better look. "He does maintenance. He could have cut himself while repairing something," she said. "I knew you'd say that." I pulled my gun from its holster, and Karen hesitantly did the same. She stepped forward, knocking on the smudged door. "Cross, Seattle PD. We'd like to speak with you." Karen held her gun low, but there was no peephole on the door for him to see out of. I glanced up and saw the camera from the end of the hallway, a red light blinking with every 2 beats of my heart. I nodded over to it, and she frowned. "Police, open up!" She banged on the door with the flat of her palm, and I had a bad feeling. "They have the boyfriend," she said to me. "Maybe Cross is sleeping." "Maybe he's not," I said. I preferred to err on the side of caution, but something about this was setting me on edge. "Step aside." I banged on the door and waited another minute before glancing at Karen. "Probable cause." I kicked the door in. It took 2 tries, and my ankle protested as the door swung wide open, revealing a dark apartment suite. "See? He's sleeping." Karen started to walk into the room when the gun fired. I pushed her away, diving over her, but I could already smell the faint scent of iron. "Karen!" My gun was raised, searching for a target. "Officer down!" I shouted, and heard the bullet hit the wall at the same time as the gun went off. I rolled into the hallway, dragging Karen with me. She was bleeding from the chest, blood already trailing out from her mouth as she gasped, "Karen Pullman, you stay with me." Another gunshot, and rage filled me. Whoever was inside had killed a woman upstairs in cold blood and had shot my partner. Karen's phone was ringing. It was the dispatcher, and I answered it. "I need an ambulance. Get to the basement. Officer down." I dropped the phone and stood up, pressing my body against the near wall. "Put your hands in the air. Drop your weapon. This building is surrounded," I shouted. All was silent. Suddenly it was all too much. Karen's dying gasps beside me, the moldy stink of this basement hallway, the dead eyes that had been boring a hole into my soul upstairs. I reverted to a moment as a teenager. I saw the pain in the man's eyes, the fear, the anger, the understanding, and I shoved it all aside. "Not today, Jerry," I whispered to myself, using the short version of my name that I hadn't thought about in years. I reached inside the suite and flicked the light switch on. Nothing. No sign of him. I took a deep breath and raised my gun, entering the unit. I knew I should wait, but couldn't. The basement door opened, and I heard paramedics and officers rushing toward us as I walked farther into the room. I checked the first door. A closet. The kitchenette was next. Filthy dishes piled in the sink. Flies and the smell of rotting meat threatened to gag me. I heard a door click and ran for it. I pushed through the cheap hollow interior door, sending it flying, and saw him trying to escape from the window. "Stop where you are!" I had the line. I could shoot him. No one would ever know. I glanced to the side of the bedroom where a series of monitors was set up.